Hi, I'm Ron Greenwald, and this is my business partner, Patty Gerke. And we have a great show for you today. It is the holiday season, and we wish you all a fantastic holiday period with health and safety. And we do want to thank you all for tuning in 2019, and we will continue this into 2020. Patty and I are really focused on advocating on behalf of our seniors, our older population, to be healthy, safe at home, and understand their options for their best quality of life. And through that, we have created the Field of Life. If you have any questions about that, please give us a call. We are on greenwaldgerke.com, and we have a lot of videos on that site to help you navigate what's going to happen during your aging process. And we call it the Field of Life because we know life is going to throw you a curveball at some point in time. And we want you to be very educated on the options that are out there so that you can recover from any curveball that might be thrown your way, plus that you will make the right decisions that's best for your quality of life. So with that, I'm going to have Patty introduce our guest for today.
Our guest today is Angela Vittucci. She is a lifestyle wellness dietitian, and through her own personal experiences and her own illness, she's become very passionate about understanding what are the best foods to be eating, what are the best dietary restrictions to have. And from that, she has taken it to a whole nother level by educating others, which is her passion, to share what she knows and what she's learned along the way. And Angela, we're really happy to have you here today, especially as the holidays are approaching and we eat probably way more than we should of all the wrong things that we should. But you know, you're supposed to say it's okay if in moderation, but there might be some things that maybe aren't even okay in moderation. Mm-hmm. So what are some of the best diet suggestions that you have for a mature adult, especially as the holidays are approaching?
Okay, so as the holidays are approaching, I tell people, if you know that, we know that sugar is not good for us, we know, but this is the holidays. So if you could just save up, like say, I'll eat that on Christmas, I'll eat that on Thanksgiving. That way you don't miss that, but at the same time, you're not exposing your body to it all the time. Sugar and white flour are the most inflammatory foods for us, and as we age, we have things like arthritis and things like that. These aggravate that. So if you can reduce the amount of sugar, actually you should eliminate it. I know it's hard at this time of year, okay? So yeah, if we were doing this show in January, I'd be a little more adamant about it. And for some people, you mentioned for some people they should never have that. If you're have a lot of arthritis, you really need to get off gluten and sugar permanently. So, if you'll do that, you'll find that when you do succumb and eat it, you feel so terrible that you'll now, that's why I should.
Didn't make me feel good.
Right.
So
now there's a consequence to it. If you're eating it all the time, you're always inflamed, so you don't know.
Yeah. Good point.
So you don't even notice, and you're going to the doctor for this pill and that pill, and it might be as simple as what's in your refrigerator and in your cupboards.
And did you, Angela, so you go in and you speak a lot at the Oasis here in San Diego, and if somebody makes that New Year's resolution, right, January 1st, and decides to eliminate some of these things that are very bad for you, what type of time frame should they expect in terms of seeing?
Okay, what are you willing to do?
Yeah. I mean, because again, our society is instant gratification, right? Even older adults, Patty and I.
Of course.
And so what should be our...
Okay, so like if you came in to me for a consultation and you asked me that question, I'd say, Ron, what are you willing to do? How badly do you want to feel better? Let's say you have arthritis. And I said, are you willing to go full scale? Because, some people need to do all or nothing. And that's their personality.
Right, but they start in January all or nothing.
Right, in January, right. Well, because they're,
right.
Okay, so, but other people, that is not that you have to take them in baby steps. So if you're going to do the baby step way, it's going to take you a lot longer because it'll take us a while for you to even see the difference of taking these things out. So I would take sugar and alcohol out first, and then we'd go to gluten and, different things like that. So if you could only do one thing a week, well, it might take us a year,
okay.
right?
Well, I mean, just set expectations for somebody.
Yeah, so it's just how motivated are you? And, are you willing to read a little bit about, I suggest books to people. So I find the more you know, the more enlightened you become. And then it becomes more of a choice instead of, oh, poor me, I can't have this, whatever.
Instead of I can't have this, but I can have that.
Right. And so there's also all sorts of alternatives. So for those people that are willing to cook a little, which some people are not, I work with them, and I mention these in my classes at Oasis. Those classes at Oasis developed because a lot of seniors can't afford to come and see a nutritionist one-to-one. And this way, for a very reasonable price, they're getting really good information. So that would cost them a lot more to get elsewhere.
I'd like you to share a little bit of your journey of this, and I think that's important for the audience to know.
My journey, yes. So I just want to tell you how grateful I am to be free. But I was very sick for 35 years, and no one could find out what was wrong with me. I was depressed. All my muscles ached. I was my brain was fogged. I couldn't think very clearly. And in the end, this happened to be Lyme disease. But I was misdiagnosed with chronic fatigue and all these different things that many people are suffering from. So what I did to get better are the things that I teach, because it's chronic illness. Chronic illness has the same root cause, inflammation. We know that certain foods cause inflammation. So that's where we can start. It may be that you need more than that. Maybe you need to see a doctor or a naturopath or whatever, like I did. But there's so much you can do yourself for so reasonable cost, but you got to be willing to do it. So, now there's so much information out there that it's much more motivating. And you meet somebody who used to be all crippled up and kind of, from inflammation of eating wrong things. And then you say, oh my gosh, look at them. They're great. They've lost weight. They look young. You do look younger when you're not in pain all the time. Mm-hmm. Even the countenance of your face. So that's my journey. And so that's the passion about trying to help other people.
So do you provide the list of alternatives and that part of your education? Because I think part of the problem is people, there's a lot of information out there, but a lot of times people don't know where to go to find it. Right. And they try to find it and they just get frustrated because they're not finding the information in a concise, informative manner.
Which is why I developed the classes. Okay, so I put it in bullet form and I put them, so I tell people, for instance, let's just say we're talking about a diet like the keto diet. Okay, you can't have sugar, you can't have flour, you can't have all these things, but eat this instead. And then I say, and buy this at Trader Joe's, and buy this. The cheapest place to get really good seaweed snacks is at Costco, believe it or not. So
We're plugging Trader Joe's and Costco.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that.
And that's good.
I tell them so they don't get lost in the World Wide Web. Because there's just too much misinformation. There's a lot of good information on the web, but there's a lot of misinformation. And depending on the marketing techniques, and they know how to target us older adults. They know how to do it.
Okay, so what would be the biggest misconception or the biggest misinformation that you are fighting all the time?
The biggest misconception is that one pill is going to cure everything. Okay, so like, for memory, because that seems to be a big thing. If you're not in pain, you're worried about losing your mind. You watched your mother or your father or somebody go through Alzheimer's or dementia. Now we know that can be stopped and reversed in some cases, especially if it's just at the dementia stage. So they want to know, well, what pill can I take? Well, it's more than a pill, because if you don't do the diet...
It's a lifestyle.
The lifestyle, unplugging from the electron. It's more than just diet. So, but how much is your life worth to you? You've lived more of your life than you're going to live, most likely. Okay, so now's the time that you need to pay attention to you, and so the rest of your life is comfortable and happy and worthwhile, instead of being in pain for years without your mind not even knowing where you are. This does not have to happen. So that's where I try to fill a gap and help people find the information that they need.
That's great. In terms of supplements, what would you suggest there?
Okay, so supplement, what a wide world, okay, right? So, but there's
the wide world of supplements.
There's certain things you absolutely should be taking. A fish oil or an omega type thing. Fish oil, some people are vegetarian, so they don't want to do fish oil. There's vegetarian versions of that. Your brain needs that. So absolutely.
So if I eat fish 2 or 3 times a day.
Not enough. Oh, a day?
No, I'm sorry. Sorry. If I eat 2 or 3 times a week,
No.
that's really.
Okay, let me tell you why. Because first of all, it has to be wild fish, so it has to be like Alaskan salmon, whatever. And it's just not. It's not enough. So that you must. Vitamin D, absolutely. The doctor can even measure if you're the type of person.
It seems
that
like
you need a lab
everybody's
test.
low on vitamin D these days,
Yeah,
so
but-
that's kind of funny
What,
how that's
what does
all.
that do for? What does that? What does D do for you?
D is really good for your. Again, these are. I'm all talking about what's for your brain.
Okay.
The other thing is a balanced B complex, and that's for not one from the dollar store. Okay, it needs to be from because there's fake. They make
Right, no,
fake
I
everything,
know.
Okay, so you want a balanced B complex, and the reason being is that when we're stressed, we go through B vitamins and. In order to eat enough B vitamins from your diet, you would have to be eating 6 or 7 slices. Of servings of whole grains, etc. I would be as big as a mansion if I did that. Okay, and and if you're on an anti-inflammatory diet, you've taken grains out of your diet anyway. Okay, so now you definitely need a B complex. So those are the very basics, but at least take those.
Okay.
What about multiple vitamins?
I think a multiple vitamin is a good thing because it's kind of like overall insurance, right? But it needs, again, to be one that's sourced with some natural combination. So it's not going to be the one that's $3, all right? So, and really to be really effective, if that's all you're going to take is the multiple vitamin, you need to get the one that comes in 6 different pills a day because that's the only way they could get everything in it. So, I still think multiple vitamin is a good thing. Just, I don't want to mention badmouth a brand here, but there's some brands out there that are not worth taking, all right? If they're overly colored, for instance, that should be a bright orange.
So what class would I attend at Oasis to hear the supplements part?
Okay, the supplement. Well, I tell you the supplements in every class. So if you came to the keto class on the keto diet eating, I'd be telling you the supplements that go with that one. If you come to the one how to preserve your brain and preserve your memory, that would be all the brain supplements. And I even tell you where you can get them, the cheapest place to get them, the least expensive, reliable places to get them. There are some places online that are very reliable. And, you don't have to pay the exorbitant price at some of the stores.
Do you use any CBD oils or any CBD lotions?
So interesting that you mentioned that because that
hot-
kept coming up in class, all right? And so I thought, well, I better educate myself on this. So I watched all the webinars and et cetera. And because of my knee pain, I'd start with a CBD oil product from a very reliable source of professional for doctors. And it's combined with boswellia and turmeric and all these things that also go. And I've been on it 2 days and I'm pretty pain-free. So I'm pretty convinced, all right?
Oh.
I'm on the right
That was
track.
quick.
Yeah. So well, it's just, but I was in a lot of pain, okay? So the research is, there's a lot of really good information on it, but here's the deal. If you're just going to take CBD and you're going to eat sugar and you're going to eat white flour and everything, you're still going to have arthritis. You're still going to have pain. So again, let's do a more holistic type thing. But I would encourage anybody. I was told by a doctor the other day that it works great for some people and not for other people. I just happened to hit the right combination, right? And so it's, we'll see. I'm going to someday have to have a knee replacement, but I'd like to not be miserable until that time. So, yeah. So I'm pro, but just not. Just know your source. Know your source.
So I just, in terms of, again, we're in the holiday period, alcohol. What can anybody do to? I mean, if they're going to choose an alcohol, is there an alcohol that? Beverage.
You know what? Alcohol is sugar on steroids. Okay, so there's no. I mean, if you like I'm from an Italian family. We always had a glass of wine with meals. I don't do that anymore, but that's not going to hurt anything, all right? Unless you're chronically ill, and then every time you cheat, it's going to hurt you. Alcohol is really one of the first things that you really, if you want to get well from inflammation, you got to give that up. So better one without sugar. I mean, you know, better gin and tonic or vodka just straight than a frozen strawberry daiquiri, of course, right? Okay, that's just common sense. But I mean, if you're really looking to improve your health, it'd be a really good idea to.
So am I hearing inflammatory sugar is
It's always, you know, sugar is the most inflammatory. So if inflames your brain, if your gut is inflamed, your brain is inflamed. So, you know, you think, oh, I just have inflammation in my joints. No, you don't. You just maybe you're still of sound mind, but there's a process going on there, and we know this now. So why not be proactive and, you know, not wait till you're missing appointments and all that type of things.
I know.
With the holidays coming, it's like,
I know, we
oh,
should have done this.
No.
We'll do a recap in
Yeah,
January.
well, you know what? We'll push it out there again in December 31st.
starting tomorrow.
Starting tomorrow. What about exercise? We really haven't talked.
Exercise is important, okay, but you don't have to do this massive. Some people say, well, I can't do the gym. Like right now, I can't do the gym with my knee. But just walking. If you walk 25 minutes a day, and if you can't find the motivation to walk, I always say adopt a dog. Then you will have to walk, and you'll find the motivation will be there because the dog will want to walk, and the dog loves you, and it's just kind of a miracle with dogs, and those dog people know that. So anyway, but however you can move is the way to move. If swimming is your thing, then, you know, join the Y or whatever. But just as long as you move, that's the main thing. You do not have to do these crazy, you know, type, not in the later, if you can do them, great, but most of us have had to slow down from our younger versions of exercise, right? So.
Well, we're trying not to.
Yeah, well, I know, but, you know, we have to use common sense, right?
Our mind is still going. It's the body that's not following.
Right. But now we're finding people's minds are not following too. So that's why we want to make this intervention, you know. It's another motivation to not give into an instant pleasure because, you know, you reap what you sow, greater than you sow, later than you sow. And
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, well, that's I think that's a proverb from the Bible actually. But we never think, you know, oh, I'll eat this donut because it looks so good, or whatever, Christmas cookie or whatever your ethnicity is that you have some, and then 2 hours later you start to hurt or you have a headache or whatever. You know, at the time you weren't thinking of the consequences. So just try to make people just become, if nothing else, if you binge out like crazy, all right, this week, pay attention to how you feel after you do that. Just log that in and use it as motivation in January.
And how does sleep come into it?
Sleep is very important. So if you're not sleeping, all the vitamins, all the things, it's not working. So you
Is it the chicken or the egg thing? Is it?
Well, here's the deal.
That's a good
So
question.
if you tell me, if you are not sleeping, I will work with your sleep before you're getting you off sugar or whatever. You know, say you came to lose weight. Because if you don't sleep, everything, it's like not turning off your computer, okay? You have to reboot at night. Sometimes sleeping is simply a dietary issue. You know, they're eating coffee before they go to bed, or they're eating too much sugar, or sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a gut infection, parasites, yeast, you know, these things that can keep you up at night. So we need to rule that out. Then we have sleep apnea. You know, that's, you know, so if I can't figure it out, then I send you to a doctor to figure it out. But that's what we have to take care of. That's foundational. You must sleep. And you should sleep 6 to 8 hours at our age, more 8, and in a dark room, no lights. So if you need to have a nightlight on, you need to sleep with a sleep mask.
Well, if you can help me not have to get up twice a night.
Well, see, and that's the thing.
That's an age thing, people.
Even if you get up, okay. Now, part of that is how late you drink water during the day. Okay,
right.
So, or whatever you're drinking. And even if you have to get up, it also could tell me your adrenal glands are low, okay, because they're not helping you stay asleep during the night. I'm not diagnosing you, but
No,
I'm
that's
just
okay.
saying these are just things. Okay, so and then if you say no, it's always at 2:00 in the morning that I wake up, and then I'll say, tell me if it's worse at the full moon, and if you say yes, then I know we have to test for parasites.
Really?
Yes.
The
So this is kind of like more outside the box, but now we're finding, I mean, people think, how did I get parasites? Well, do you eat sushi? Do you use public restrooms? I mean, it's not like we have
I eat
to
a lot of sushi and I use a lot of public restrooms.
Okay, so you no longer have to go to a foreign country, and it's very easy. It can be as simple as you just use the restroom, you washed your hands,
Right,
but the
right.
person before you didn't. You push the door open, and you put your hand right where that person put their hand. You eat an apple, in go the parasite. So this is a specialty of mine because
Right.
it was a very big part of my illness. And I just tried to tell people, just be aware. Look, you deworm your dog, don't you? Don't you?
I believe we do.
Okay, so I think people should do an herbal type of parasite thing at least twice a year.
Really?
Yeah, it's very easy. Go to the health food store; they have it. If you have more, that just as preventative. I think it's very. People on farms used to do this, right? This is kind of stuff that's kind of gotten forgotten. But happy gut, happy brain. We know that. So if there's infection down here, it's going to affect
Now,
up here.
do you have a web? I don't see it. I don't have a website.
I don't have a website.
You don't have a website. So how do people get a hold of you? Because this is great information.
Okay, so I'm so recently well enough to this person that you're seeing today and that I just, kind of jumped out there and said, well, how can I help other people not end up where I did? So I'm just, teaching this. This is all very new. This is like my rebirth of my career. And
kudos for
so
you.
they can get through, they could call Oasis. They
Oasis.
can call me directly or email me. I always give my emails.
Well, give
in
your
my-
email.
Give your email.
Give your email.
Okay, but I'm going to change it. But let's use the new one. Let's do connect Angela V. Connect Angela V at gmail.com.
Connect Angela
Angela
V
V.
as in victory.
Yeah.
At gmail.
At gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
Yeah. So, and then, we go from there. Sometimes people come to a class and they're like, oh my God, I never knew. How did you know this? Okay, this is what I learned in the trenches of getting well. Okay, so now there are books on it, so you got to know to look for them. And let me recommend KPBS too. There's a lot of really good whole lists. Dr. Axe, Dr. Amen, Dr. Mark Hyman, there's free information right there.
They have shows on KBBS?
They have shows.
On KBBS?
Yeah, they're like seminars, and there's,
Oh.
and then they promote their book or whatever but they're excellent. I mean, sometimes I sit and watch that and I go, I just paid $400 to go to a seminar and that was better. So, yeah, because it was to the point, where
Right,
people
right,
can understand.
right.
So I always encourage you, please, watch those, I guess they would be called seminars on KPBS.
Webinars
They're usually
or-
on the weekend.
Oh, okay.
They're usually on the weekend, and they usually, like, Dr. Amen has like 5 different ones, and Dr. Mark Harmon has 3 or 4 different ones. So and they repeat them occasionally. So.
Okay. Well, we have gone past.
I mean, I was
no,
gonna say-
but I mean, I think it's a great topic. It's such an, again,
It's
like,
important.
it's
It's
such an
really
important topic.
Yeah.
You are what you eat, or,
Yeah.
I used to believe everything in moderation, but even maybe that's, as you
There's
age,
no such word as moderation
should-
in the American culture
in the
anymore.
American diet and things like that.
I mean, okay, we used to say you can have sugar in moderation. We were saying for your birthday, that's, but now people eat cake 3 times a day, right? They eat Pop-Tart for breakfast. They eat something, people do
I
this,
know,
okay?
I know.
And then they wonder why am I riddled with all this arthritic type, why am I stiff? Why doesn't my brain work? So, I think we need kind of a wake-up, shake-up
Well, good
call.
for you. Good for you.
And,
We got to get this word out there
yeah.
to more and more people.
Yes. And, pain is a great motivator.
Yeah.
It will,
Pain is.
Yeah, it's like,
Sucks.
okay, so more people are, and then at this age too, we have become more aware, and we're no longer dedicated our total career to raising the children or whatever it was that you had to kind of neglect yourself to do.
We just want to raise dogs now.
Yeah, right. Dogs are
Much
a
easier.
really good investment. They give back more than you'll ever have to do for them.
Exactly.
So,
Well, Angela, thank you so much for being here. Again, my brain is going a mile a minute. I got to really look at this because
Okay,
I have
great.
been,
Well,
I have kind of gone off the deep end, I think, in
Yeah.
the last few months because we actually have where we work now is there's food everywhere.
That's another. Okay, so I had a class on that, but how you. So if you know you're going to parties, all right, we're kind of at the end here, but do not go hungry.
Right.
All
Don't
right.
go to the grocery store hungry.
Don't go in, right. Also, but not. These holiday parties are very. They're going to see some things come out that are only out at Christmas, only out at Thanksgiving. So if it's going to be a buffet, decide ahead of time what you're going to. Okay, what I really want is stuffing. Okay, or what I really want is whatever it is. Okay, then that's what you're not going to put everything on your plate because then you're going to feel, oh, well, I have to eat it now, it's here, right? There's no way you're going to be able to digest that. So you'll find you enjoy yourself more and you don't feel deprived.
Good for you.
So
on that note, we wish you the very, very best holiday season. We wish you well. We look forward to seeing you and hearing from you in 2020. Patty Gerke, have a great holiday.
You too. And
Thank
you
you
as
for
well,
joining us.
Angela.
Angela, thank you. And this is Ron Greenwald. Thank you for tuning in. Senior Stay or Go TV.